You know what's dumb as fuck? Your boy who spends $50 a day on DoorDash and carts and he hasn't done the foundation. You need to learn the foundation of financial literacy first, and then you can become an investor. Now, you don't want to end up like your boy here, so watch this whole video to get your finances in check so you can start investing properly. Now, step one is the emergency fund. Now, you cannot build any wealth at all if every single inconvenience in your life wipes you out. If your tire popping on the side of the road and you need to buy a new one absolutely cripples you, bro, you are not ready to move forward. Now, a few keys are: do not have your emergency fund in the same account that you spend in. So keep it in a high interest savings account. Obviously, it needs to be liquid, so don't have it in stocks or any sus investments you're making on the side. Now, here's where most chuds start failing. Things that are not emergencies. I know this sounds stupid, but so many people are spending on these things. Just because you want it urgently doesn't make it an emergency. Now, I'm going to go into two quick phases, you should go through with your emergency fund. Now, the first phase is just building a base. That's 1 to 2K, unexpected bills, anything that comes up, bang, that tire pop, that's all right. I can handle that. You're not stressed. But now, phase 2 is where you really start churning on. You got 3 months of expenses at least. Now you're starting to get protected from major disruptions. You're not too stressed about your bills. This is the best phase to be in. It's really simple, guys. Just build that emergency fund up. All right, step 2, killing that dumb debt. I know it's really simple, but we're going to go through it. High interest debt is like negative investing. You legit cannot fill a bucket with a hole in it. So if you have any debt, you need to lock in and take care of it. Debt isn't just money owned, bro. It's like future money that's already spent. The debt isn't even the real problem. It's the interest that attached to it. It's just accrues and accrues and accrues. Look, not all debt is stupid, and as you can see, I'm about to get into it. But I'm going to go into what's some dumb debt and some like okay debt, because, depending on the person you are, even okay debt might be shit. So some dumb debt is credit cards, buy now, pay later. Bro, if you do buy now, pay later, you're the biggest idiot. That's that afterpay stuff, whatever. If you can't afford it, you can't buy it. So never do this. Like never, ever, ever. Impulse spending, of course, that can get you into debt. Maybe you could even add financing a car into this. I don't know. But you do not want to be in debt that is accruing and accruing and accruing. Now, look, some potentially smart debt might be property or business investments. Some education, that can be okay. But generally, if you're not good with money, stay out of that debt. Now, I'm going to give you guys some strats to get out of debt if you're in debt. So if you're not in debt, skip along, but here we go. So phase 1, just become aware. So the balances, the interest rates, the minimum payments, all you want to do is write these things down and look at them. Avoidance keeps you stuck. So really just hold yourself accountable, look at this shit and lock in. So now that you're aware of it, you can start moving down. So phase 2, you're going to start making payments. Now there's a thing called the snowball method. You start by attacking your smallest debt, then build up that motivation and momentum, and you can start seeing progress ticking things down. There's another method called the avalanche method where you pay the minimum on all debts and throw your extra at the highest debt first. That's probably the best one, but it doesn't matter. As long as you are consistent, you will pay off your debts. So just stay consistent. Now, phase 3, so simple, man. Don't add new debt. Don't add new debt. Don't buy anything that will get you in debt. Stay away from it. You never want to go back into debt. If you're someone who's really bad with money, you're never going back into debt unless it's a house. Now, phase 4, try increase your income, side hustles, extra shifts, selling shit on the side, whatever you need to do. If you guys want me to make a video on some, nice side hustles you can get into, let me know. Now, this may be hard, but whatever short-term sacrifice you can make for that long-term freedom is worth it. Now, you can't build your wealth on a foundation of payments, so kill the payments and you will have finally money to build with. Step 3 is knowing where your money is going. Now, here's some places where your money can get trapped up. The subscription, the impulse spending, the lifestyle inflation, the carts, all that. As chuds, we don't need to know a single thing about investing, and people think financial literacy includes investing. It does not. All it is awareness of your money and having intentional spending. Because if you don't control your money, it will control your ass. Now, here's the stuff that's really going to start getting you on track. We're going to look into just a simple awareness exercise: fixed versus variable expenses. Now, fixed expenses, that's your rents, your bills, your insurance. That stuff you just cannot get out of paying. Now, these are predictable and easy to plan around. But your variable expenses, your eating out, your shopping, your nights out, all the shit that you buy on the side that, you don't really need to buy, but it makes you happy or whatever. These are random as fuck, and these are where most leaks happen. Now, obviously, you don't want to have a chokehold on yourself and you can't spend anything that's not essential. That's just not realistic. But it's the Uber Eats, the bunch of streaming services, all that, just one-off purchases that screw you. Now, none of this alone will ruin you, but they just destroy your savings rate. And savings rate can be such a goated metric. Like, if you guys think about, let's take someone making 60K a year, saving at a 30% rate. They're going to outperform someone who's making 120K and they're only saving 5% rate. Now, obviously, it might be much tighter if you're only making 60K, but that is crazy to think about. Now, we got to move into budgeting, but you don't need to be a spreadsheet chud to budget. It's just knowing your numbers and choosing priority. So you have to know your numbers. So I'm going to give you guys a few strats to get into. So the strat one is just a weekly check-in. So you're just looking at your account, seeing what damage is done, and you just started getting a vibe of how much you spent that week. I know this might sound crazy, like, what? Who doesn't check their account? I know, we've all been there. We've just spent a bunch of money on a crazy night out or a big week of spending, and you don't want to check your account. We've all been there. So this weekly check-in will stop you from just letting that snowball and snowball and snowball. Now, strat 2 is where you start generally just categorizing, just like what's essential, what's not, get a general idea of what you are doing. Now, strat 3 is just helping you delay impulses. All you got to do is just, give it 2 days, give it, 2-3 days. Holy shit, my handwriting's bad, my bad. Give it 2-3 days and see if you still want to buy it. Usually all your impulse purchases, you forgot about it. It's all gone. And strat 4 is like, just set your boundaries. You don't have to cut down on everything. It's not sustainable. You're going to just crash out, then end up blowing the budget. So just have a budget and define what you want to spend on. Now, just have some intentional spending. It will feel much better than unconsciously seeing your money go down after a big night or just day by day by day. Now, not going to lie, if you haven't been aware of your spending and gaining, gaining awareness is actually going to change the game, because now you're going to start to become one with your finances. I know that's some bullshit, but and you'll naturally just start cutting down on that spending because you're in tune with the numbers. Now, moving on to investing, I'm going to do a couple of videos of investing, but we'll get into that later in much more depth. But most people think of finding the next Bitcoin or copying some Chud influencer or even picking your own stocks, which you can do, but you just got to keep it really simple at the start. It's the next step you take after the ones I showed previously. Now, you don't want to jump into some meme coin you saw online or some ass day trading strat, but I'm just going to do a quick fire of the asset classes so you can just start to understand. I also do have a video of how to just get a general idea in valuing investments, link in the bio. But stocks, you're owning a small piece of the company. People buy because, companies grow, share prices rise, dividends that pay income, all that. ETFs, they're basically just safer stocks. You get that diversification because it's a bundle of stocks in one investment. So it's very low risk, long-term compounding. Now, real estate, people are buying it because it can generate rent and grow in value, and you can leverage into the asset. So, put 10% down or whatever the hell you're putting down. That's obviously 10% bit low, but anyway, it's a long-term asset. Now, crypto, we all know crypto. They're digital assets. People buy it for innovation, I guess. That high growth potential, making it big, but they're so volatile, heavy speculative asset. But yep, next one we're moving on. Bonds. Look, bonds are loans you give to governments or companies in exchange for interest. So people buy bonds just for the stability. It's very predictable, not volatile at all. Now look, every investment sits somewhere on a scale of safety, growth, and volatility. Now you have to understand your own risk tolerance and time horizon. And look, I'm no financial advisor, but I'm going to do a full video on how to get started in investing. There's so many out there on YouTube, just beginning investing things. Obviously, it's just going to be dollar cost averaging in something like the S&P 500 VOO, but compound interest is a chud's best friend. So if you keep yourself educated and don't try to just hit big and become a millionaire overnight, it's all about patience and consistency. Step 5, and it's all about systems. Systems matter massively. You might get motivated on your financial journey for a bit, but that's temporary. Systems are permanent. Systems also reduce stress like crazy. They help you make fewer decisions, have less guilt, fewer mistakes, and consistent progress. Now, here's some strategies to get started. So the first strat is just separating your accounts. I know it's super simple. I know I've said it before, but just Have a spending account, savings account, and your investment account. Now you want to have automatic payments into these accounts. So automatically into your savings, then automatically into your investments. What is left from there, you can put into your spending and whatever. It helps become much more structured. Now, step 3, I've said it before, create boundaries. Now, boundaries are so essential. Once saving and investing are automated, the remaining money is for expenses, right? You should always have leftovers for a little bit of guilt-free spending so you don't crash out on your financial journey. Because it will happen. If you have such a strict budget, you will crash out and give up on your financial journey. And we don't want that. I know the video today was really simple, guys. I just gave you a few simple strategies just to get started. But these steps, if you take all these steps and start your financial journey with a strong base, man, you are going to excel. Future videos are getting into more in-depth stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribe for more.